Hey spa owner, and welcome to the SBA Business Podcast, where we talk all about spa strategy, profit, and automation. This is a podcast for spa owners who want to build a business that pays you well, runs without you, and grows with intention. I'm Amanda, a spa owner and licensed esthetician. Let's turn your spa into the business you always knew it could be. Hello, spa owner, and welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you tuning in. This is something that I've started doing this year in 2026 on the podcast, and that is a quarterly check-in. I think that this is something that I've always been curious about in other businesses, and so I thought I would share it. I would love to hear from you to see what your wins and your learns are, and I'm going to share some of mine with you just so that you can kind of get an idea of what a spa owner that has multiple people on their team. Just to give you a reference, we do multiple six figures in revenue. I have currently, at the time of recording this, I have 3 estheticians, 2 support staff, but you'll hear in this episode that I actually am hiring. And one of the 2 people that I gave a job offer to has already accepted. So I technically have 4 estheticians, so hopefully soon to be 5. And I've been doing about 20%, over 20% in profit year after year. And this is something that I feel like when you hear about other spa owners and what they're doing, it'll help to spark something in you. It'll help to show you maybe what's motivating to you and what you can start doing in your spa. And if you're curious about it, you can ask questions, right? I love curiosity. I think it's a really important skill to have and to bring into your business, especially. So I do these at the end of every quarter to kind of share what I actually did, what is working, what I'm still trying to figure out, what's coming next. And then I will give you kind of an overview at the end of next quarter, which is Q3. I'll let you know like what worked, what didn't work, all the things. So I love these episodes because they're pretty honest and vulnerable and really transparent. It's definitely not going to be the highlight reel, but this is just me sitting down as a spa owner, talking to you, another spa owner, in the way that I would approach it. Maybe if I was coaching myself as a coaching client and saying, hey, here's where I was, here's what I tried, here's what happened. And then by the end of the episode, you're going to hear the things that worked, what didn't, and what I'm going to try next quarter. So let's go. Let's do this thing. So the first thing is, so if you listen to my last episode, you'll know that I started doing Monday morning huddles. And this is something that I've known about for a while, and I didn't really know how I was going to implement it in my own business. And I'm so glad that I did because it has actually been a lot of fun. The key that I want to make sure that I cover in this episode is that I always make sure to aim for 5 minutes, no more. Do I make it to 5 minutes? No, but I never go above 10 minutes. And I've really enjoyed these. I make them fast and snappy. It kind of sets the tone for the whole week for the team. It gets everybody on the same page. And what I do, kind of like the format, is that I make sure I share these things with the entire team because there are things that maybe my virtual assistant will hear in this team meeting, in this Monday morning huddle that might help her when she's talking to clients in our email inbox or in our DMs on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe it helps when she makes a post to our stories. And same thing goes with like the estheticians when they hear, okay, what is the business assistant working on and why is she doing those things? Okay, she's getting all of the data, she's ordering supplies, she's running payroll, she's doing all these really important things. And when they hear that that is stuff that's going on behind the scenes that they would not have otherwise known about, now they have a better understanding of like, oh, wow, that's what that person does. I don't actually need to ask Amanda this question. I can go straight to the biz ops assistant and ask her because she's probably going to be the person that knows the answer better. And that's really what I have found to be so much more helpful. But the part that I love the most about this is actually the emoji that I ask for at the very end. It's my favorite thing, and I can confirm that it is my team's favorite part of the whole thing as well, because I asked them about that at our team meeting that we had earlier this week. And I was like, because I knew I was going to record this episode. I always, it's currently June 18th when I record this episode. The 15th is when Q2 ended. And I asked them on the 16th, which is the day of our team training. And I was like, are you finding this helpful? Like, do you actually feel like it's helping you do your job? Do you feel like it's more just adding more work to your plate? What are your thoughts? And they're all of them, it was a consensus that they all felt like it was very helpful, that they felt like they had a direction, and that they enjoyed the emoji, that they looked forward to knowing what the emoji was at the very end, which I found to be so fun, that they found the part to be the most fun, the same thing that I found to be the most fun, which is the emoji at the end. And so what I do, we use Slack as our team communication app. And at the very end of every team huddle, I'll ask them to react with an emoji, and I'll give them a little prompt of something. Like last week, I asked them to leave an emoji that reminds them of a basket. And it was really fun to see, I was not prepared that someone would put a trash, a waste basket, which is technically a basket, right? And then someone else left a basketball, someone left a picnic basket. I don't even know that there were so many baskets that were basket adjacent emojis out there. So it was really fun. And I know it sounds silly, but it's nice to have fun at work, right? If you're going to be at work for the majority of your days, you want to have fun, right? And so it just created this really nice touch point in this nice team check-in that I was having once a week with my team. And it just made it a little bit more enjoyable. And I feel like we were all on the same page afterwards with that. Now, with this Monday morning huddle, I actually transitioned our team meetings, our monthly team meetings, into an esthetician training. So it's truly actually more like a team training so that the estheticians can focus on their craft and get a training once a month. I think that is so important. And it's something that they were really craving. And this can come from maybe an outside external source. Maybe recently we've been really wanting to do a dermaplane class. Or the one that we just did this week is we did an internal training on scalp massages, because one of the estheticians, she has a client that's a member, and that client, instead of having the foot massage part, she wanted a scalp massage. And the esthetician didn't feel like she, was giving 100% of what she could offer in that scalp massage. So she asked us, can we go over scalp massage technique? And I was like, heck yeah, we can. And so we all shared what we knew, and we all gave each other tips, and it was a lot of fun. We all got to experience a nice scalp massage. So all of us had really zhuzhed hair at the end of the training, but it was really good. And they all felt like it was helpful. And then I asked them in the moment, what are you wanting next? And I'm letting them kind of lead where they're feeling like the gaps are. Now, as a leader, I'm also listening to things. I see every single review that comes through, whether it's good, bad, or anything in between. I'm listening to the clients that give feedback. I am looking at the results. Maybe they're taking before and afters, and I'm noticing, okay, maybe they need to improve this little part right here. Or another esthetician might bring something up to my attention, hey, I just want to let you know, I saw Jane Doe. She saw the other esthetician the last time she was here. This time she saw me, and she said that she didn't have the best experience last time. This doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. And so my esthetician will then come to me and let me know, hey, I just want to let you know that this happened, just so that you can address it with the esthetician to hopefully prevent it from happening again. And those things I'm so grateful for. And so those are the things that we will do trainings on to try and increase the retention of the team. So having this esthetician team training really just elevates and raises the skill level of the entire team. And I feel like it's making me a better leader as well. There's something about stepping into the role of the person who is actively like investing in her team's growth, it changes how you show up. And I just feel like I am providing so much more value to them. I feel more grounded in my role when I'm doing this. And it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like I'm actually pouring into my team, and that is such a good feeling. The next big thing that I did in Q2 is I raised my prices. And I have not done this in quite some time, mostly because I know this is so silly, but like if you have kids, you understand. I had my kids back to back, like quite literally almost back to back. Like actually I did have them back to back. I don't know why I'm saying almost. It is actually how that happened. So it was exhausting, and I kind of had to keep my spa on maintenance mode for a minute. And because of that, I did raise my prices for about 2 to 3 years. And that I would not recommend. I actually would recommend raising your prices a little bit every single year. I raised my prices at the beginning of June. June is our busiest time of the year. It's when we get the most new clients or returning clients. It's just our biggest revenue month of the entire year always, because we do 7 times more Brazilian waxing than any other service that we have here at the spa. And I want to tell you how it went. We're only halfway through June, but so far, literally nobody has even batted an eye. We increased overall by 10%. And I think there was a little bit of worry. I think it's so normal to worry that people are going to be mad or that you're going to upset people. And maybe this is, some old unresolved people pleasing thing that's, still lingering in me. And that's okay. Like I'm a work in progress, but literally nobody batted an eye, and we still are getting the same amount of new clients that we've been having. Like we get about 25 to 30 new clients every single month, and nobody is batting an eye. Like we're still getting the same amount of new clients. We haven't had a single issue, not one complaint. And yeah, it was just a non-event. And I'm not sharing that to brag. I share it because I know that someone listening right now has been putting this off, and you're putting it off because you're scared, right? I totally get that. It's very valid. But in the 8 years I've owned a business, I've owned a spa, I have only had one client say anything negative, and she is still a client to this day. This happened not during this price increase that we just had, but the one prior. And she was like, "Oh, wow, that's really expensive." And I didn't say anything to her. I just said, "Oh, okay." I didn't say anything to that. And then she, it was at the end of her service. I let her know, "Hey, we're going to be increasing our prices. You usually get this service. It's going to be going up to this price." She said, "Oh, wow, that's expensive. I am shocked that you're raising your prices." And I said, "Yeah, it's time. It's been too long, and it's time for me to raise my prices." And she walked out, and she kept walking back in like it was not an issue. So yeah, it was like such a non-issue. I don't know why. And I know that this is normal. I preach to it. I teach other people to do it. And it's still hard for me too. It's just part of all of, what we do is so empathetic. And like we are constantly wanting to not necessarily people please, but just make sure other people are comfortable, make sure other people are happy. And I am no longer willing to make myself uncomfortable in order to make other people comfortable, right? And so they have, I can't tell people how to spend their money, but I can tell them how they're going to spend it with us and what the price is going to be. And so that's why I've always, made the decision to increase prices, especially just as supply goes, the cost of supplies are going up. So that was the second thing. The third big thing that I know I needed to do. We are really booked. We are close to 80% booked. I have someone on my team who is 80% booked. Another person is 70 and another person is 60. And so, I know that's going to just only improve over the next couple of months. And so I knew I needed another esthetician. I also know that the current esthetician that's fully booked needs support. So I was looking to hire some type of a support staff role, like a front desk, a spa concierge. It's not necessarily front desk because I need this person to like turn over the room, to follow up with clients, to make sure that when someone comes in, there's a team member up at the front smiling and like making a good first impression. And so this person is essentially going to be all over the spa and supporting her fellow teammates. And so, but I also know that we needed another esthetician. And the only people that I had applying for this support staff role were estheticians. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to talk to these people. They're applying the right way, which if you've ever, done one of my webinars, I preach to hiring without ever reading a resume. I have 3 really, really impactful, important questions that I ask during every application process. And if the person doesn't answer them or do the right thing, like follow directions or answer properly or do a basic Google search, then I'm not going to hire them. And so I had these great estheticians that were applying, and I wanted to be able to still talk to them because I knew I needed an esthetician, but I also needed support staff. So I landed on this like hybrid model, and I know that it might not be the perfect fit for everybody's business, but I think it's going to be the perfect fit for us right now. So I was looking for an esthetician that could, half of her hours could be working as support staff. And then the other half of her hours, she is taking the overflow of clients that we just literally can't fit onto the other girls' schedules. And so what I was thinking is, okay, if I hire 2 estheticians and half of their schedule is support, half of their schedule is aesthetics, and I hire them twice, like I hire 2, then it's almost as if I'm getting 1 full-time support and 1 full-time esthetician. And then as their books grow, they can basically go into this full-time esthetician work. And then I would basically do it again. I would hire another esthetician. She'd be working as support while she builds her books. And it might even get to a point where I just have to have support staff just in general. And so I'm going to try it out because I have done the thing before where I just hire a front desk. And I don't know if I did it before I went on maternity leave for my first son. And I didn't enjoy it. I did not care for it. I'm pretty sure, because 99% of the problems that I have and that you have in your business, that we have, is because of us. It's because of like some type of miscommunication. Maybe there wasn't a good onboarding or good training or something like that. Your expectations weren't made clear. That's most likely what happened with this woman. And I was not able to fully help get her onboarded and prepped because I went on maternity leave with my first son, and I had an extremely challenging postpartum because my first son never slept. So I wasn't able to fully commit to her onboarding. And so that layered in with a couple other things that I just wasn't a fan of. I think it left a bad taste in my mouth. Obviously, it's not hindering me from doing it again. I'm going to be doing it here shortly again, but just maybe in a different way. And I want to try it this way to see if it is a good fit. And if it is great, I'll probably keep going. And if it's not great, I just learned something new and I can keep going and keep trying more new things. That's the beauty of all of this. I'm very risk tolerant. So I have no problem trying something out for the very first time. But yes, this hybrid role is an esthetician. They're going to be fully trained on front desk and be able to support their fellow teammates and also building their own books. So once their books fill up, they're going to fully transition into the esthetician role. And at that point, the revenue that they're generating is going to fund like a completely dedicated support hire, because then I know I'll be able to afford it because the business grew into it, right? So I just sent out 2 offer letters. One woman has already accepted. The other one, I gave her the offer letter 27 minutes ago. And so I'm not sure if she
has even seen it yet. I haven't looked yet, but I'm kind of in that limbo state as I record this. So that is kind of how I am, slowly leaning into this role because my team needs it. I need it as a business. My goal in the next year, so by June of next year, I would like to double the revenue that my team is doing. And I'm pretty sure that I can do that if I hire these 2 estheticians, get them booked fully, and then hire 1 more esthetician on top of that, because I do have someone going on maternity leave this winter. And then I am going home to the West Coast for the holidays. So I know that these 2 girls are going to have, they're going to be taking on the workload of not just the esthetician that is leaving for her mat leave, but also for me to take my clients during, the second busiest time of the year, which is the holidays. And so I'm really confident in how, we're going to get them booked and trained and all that good stuff. And so I'm feeling really good about that. That's essentially going to be my goal for the next 90 days, is to get these 2 girls completely booked up. Whether the second one accepts or not, I'm still going to get that. I'm still going to be looking for the second hire, and then we'll just go from there. But either way, the goal is to obviously get them as booked as possible, because as a business, I cannot sustain having someone on the team that isn't fully booked, right? So if I want to double my revenue for the spa in a year, I need to double the amount of estheticians I have on my team. I currently have, I'm going to say 2.5 estheticians, because I have 2 full-time, and then the gal that's going on maternity leave in the winter, she reduced her hours because it's, as like, if you've had kids, like I've had to work while pregnant, and it's freaking exhausting. Like, you're exhausted. And so we've reduced her hours just to make things a little bit easier on her. And so I have like 2.5 estheticians. And so if I can double, then that would be fantastic. And so we're on track to doing that. I'm feeling really good about that. The next thing isn't really a system that I have been implementing, but it is more like a mindset shift. And it's kind of the foundation underneath everything that I just told you. And it's basically that. So Q1 was kind of frantic for me. It was a chaotic time because my youngest had not quite turned 1. And that first year of a baby's life is absolutely beautiful and just as equally brutal. And the milestones come very, very fast. And sometimes they don't feel good. Like teething doesn't feel good. Growing pains don't feel good. When the baby's like learning how to eat solids for the first time, learning how to crawl, when they get their first cold, just like a lot of things that happen naturally. The sleep deprivation is so freaking real. And then if you put them in daycare, then they're constantly sick. You're constantly sick. And as the mom, you're operating in this state of constant low level alertness. And I mean, the brain fog is so real. It's just hard to explain unless you've lived it. But once my youngest turned 1, I feel like everything just like clicked, and he started sleeping through the night. He's playing independently now. I'm getting enough sleep. He's getting enough sleep. The boys are playing together independently. So I'm not having to like constantly hold, a little monkey on my hip all the time. And it's so freaking adorable because they just like cling to you. And don't get me wrong. Like, I love it. I love it. And then I also sometimes don't love it. I'm not going to say that I hate it, because that's absolutely not the case whatsoever. But like sometimes I really dislike it. And but then like, when they're feeding and they're cuddling you so perfectly for like that 6 minutes right before they go to sleep, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is why I did this. But yeah, that first quarter, it's just it was the last 3 months of his first year of life. And once he turned 1, it was like, wow, okay, he's playing independently. He's like not choking on food anymore. He won't die of honey exposure. Like it's just so many things. And you turn a corner and you just wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I just got 8 hours of sleep and it was amazing. And so I was able to start making these really deliberate moves because I had just a much more clearer, like the brain fog had lifted and I had a much clearer path of what I knew I needed to do. So so at the end of Q1, I made the goal for Q2 to have a hard stop at 2 p.m. every day. And I actually set an alarm. It actually went off as I'm recording this podcast. So you might have heard that at some point, but I set an alarm and it literally says time to focus on your boys because I have 2 little boys. And I love it because I am like, okay, I'm dedicated to my boys now. And I've started because something I've noticed, and this is just what works best for me, and maybe this would work for you too, I'm not sure. But I'm going to share it in case it helps someone, especially a mom out there. So I have started taking my showers at 2 p.m. Like when my alarm goes off and I'm like shutting down for the day, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to wash the day off of me. I'm washing the CEO off. And I'm stepping outside of the shower into mom mode. And I've just found this one like physical ritual to be so helpful to be fully present for my family. It has been so nice because I'm just like not transitioning from one thing to the next. I have like a physical transition and, having a lot of things on your mind can be very overwhelming. But I actually in Q2, I discovered the difference between being overstimulated and overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed is like when you have too many things on your to-do list and you just feel like you can't get them all done in time. Being overstimulated is when, you're cooking dinner and the UPS guy shows up and your dog starts losing their mind at the door. And then you hear a big like thud on the floor in the living room. And then a baby starts crying. And then the other kid is like, no, he landed on my foot and blah, blah, blah. And so everyone's like losing their marbles. And you're just trying not to let the quesadilla burn on the stove. And so like that is being overstimulated. And you can't get rid of overstimulation, which is like a physical being overstimulated is a physical thing. Being overwhelmed is a mental thing. And you can't get rid of overstimulation by doing something mental. Like you can't make a to-do list to organize your overstimulation. You have to do something physical, like take a shower, like go for a walk, or, maybe just take yourself away and remove some senses, like remove, you close your eyes, you remove the sight, you go to a quiet place, you remove the hearing, you just kind of remove any of the physical senses so that you're not as overstimulated. And so in Q2, I realized, wow, like I'm taking a shower because I'm about to go into a very physically overstimulating time of my day, which is like when I'm committed to my family. So, I do a tiny little workout. I take a shower. That's where I take a lot of my self-care. I take like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and then I go pick up my boys from school. And that just gives me the time every single day that I need to take care of myself so that I can show up not just as a better mom for my kids, but then also when I go to bed and I wake up and I'm ready to just go, I'm showing up as a better boss and I'm showing up as a better, wife and friend and leader. And I really, really love that I learned this game-changing like schedule for myself. And it just helped me to kind of bring it all together. Now, my goal for Q3 is to get the new estheticians. Hopefully, let's just manifest that this other gal accepted the job offer. And I am going to get them completely onboarded and trained. The goal is to have them at least 50% booked by the end of their 90 days. I'm pretty confident I can get them like 60% booked and have them maintain that at least throughout the rest of the year. And then hopefully by this time next year, we will have 2 fully booked additional estheticians, and we'll be doing this again and hiring again and maybe increasing our prices again. So that is the main goal over the next 90 days. Another big thing I have is that I use Vagaro and as my booking software, and I am going to be exploring Vagaro API. It's a project that I have had on the back burner. I just haven't had time to do it, and I'm so freaking excited to do it because it's going to like genuinely help me work towards so many automated things in my business. And as you know, I just recently changed the name of this podcast from Bougie and Boring to the SPA Business Podcast. And so part of that is, this fits in so perfectly with that because part of that is getting things as automated as possible so that we as high touch as possible with the clients that we do have or the new clients that we're going to have. And so having Vagaro API, it's going to help me to integrate so many things into the business that I am basically not going to have to touch. It's just going to run in the background. So I'm really excited about all of this. And so lots to work towards, but it's going to be so good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to hear from you. If you feel like this is helpful, let me know. You're welcome to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you ask a question or if you make a comment or anything, I will reply. And I would love to talk to you there. So take care, my friends, and I'll see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, then you'll really enjoy my free training where I show you the exact system I use in my own spa to pay myself more. Head on over to amandaluisaconsulting.com/more to download today. I'll see you next week on the SBA Business Podcast.